Are you saying what I remember about the time, during the time Martin Luther King started the integration?
Yeah, that's one of my first questions. Like, what do you remember about Martin Luther King?
Oh, a lot, and I don't know how to put it all in words. I remember how things were before he started the marches. And here in Pocomo, you know as well as I do, the schools were separated. Jackie went all the way to uh, where the was the technical school, that was Worcester High School. All the black kids went there. Passed by 3 white schools to ride an hour, you know.
Okay. Great. Second question. What was social life in Pocomo like when King was alive and, starting his marches and all? Like, how was people acting toward each other? White people towards African Americans? What was that like?
Well, some of it wasn't too bad. And again, it was. If you worked for the white people, well, they were nicer to the people who worked for them.
Okay.
Otherwise, they ignored the black people. When we went to the Marble Theater, the black people sat in the balcony upstairs. The white people sat downstairs. If we went to a restaurant, we would reach food out the back door. You couldn't go in and sit down like like you do now. And of course, education in the schools were quite different. We got books that were passed on from the white school. I had many a book from Pocomo High School that was sent to the black schools, and pages would be torn. We never had a new book. Pages would be torn out.
Okay. So following that, if there was racism, like how bad was the racism in this area towards African American, like during this time? Like, was it really bad? Like, was it suffocating, or was it like some people just got along, or because I know it was also segregation, but was there really bad racism like how it was in other areas?
Well, we were separate, so we didn't get a chance to make friends.
Oh.
Although I'm sure, there were a few cases that were friendly. But on the whole, you didn't have a friend that was a white person. And even if you did, if you got in public, you had to split up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Famous question. Give me a second. Okay. What was it like for you and other African Americans during the time that King made his "I Had a Dream" speech? And if you remember a lot about it, why was it so influential? Like, what did it help you out to do?
Well, during that time, I was raising a family, working. Just sort of busy with family life, although everybody kept up with what was going on. And some people, even in this area, joined the march, especially when they were in Princess Anne.
Mm.
And the NAACP was active.
Okay, cool. Alright. during the time they died or was assassinated, was there any outrage during the time, or like was there any panic or confusion, or around here did anybody riot, or just did anybody throw a fit, or?
Well, everybody was upset. There was outrage. And the leaders were, trying to calm people down. But it wasn't a really lot of trouble in this area. I mean, that you could, be on the news or that people really focus on. No. And really, the churches were always the place where the meetings were held, or where you talked about things like that.
Okay, final question. After his death, like some years after, how did life progress here? Like, how did people start viewing others just, differently? Or did they view them differently at all? Or did they view them the same? Like, did they start treating them kind of more equally?
Well, yeah, on the outside as you would look at it. But then there were problems. There were problems in school when the integration started. But our kids were taught to, kind of turn the other cheek, so to speak, to stay cool and calm, because I know my son played on the basketball team. And he mostly got along with members of the team, but like when other schools come in, they would say all kinds of things on the floor to him. But their coach, talked to them and told them not to pay any attention, to keep on going. But they call them all the black monkeys and the black things and everything they could think of kids from the other team. And maybe even our own team, but not, out personally. And some of the teachers had a hard time too, getting used to it. They didn't always give our kids the right grades. I know Sharon, my daughter Sharon. She when she graduated, she was going to the State Department for a job. And the grades that they sent in were like C's and D's. Well, she had been getting A's, mostly 8 straight A's. But I had kept her test papers. And when they came down to check her everything, and they couldn't understand why these papers were different from the teachers, her grades, So they went to the school and showed them. I can't think well, it doesn't matter what her name was, but anyway, then she said, she was told to put a grade under, that you got an A, put a B, under tests, things like that. So some of those things were, and then some of our kids had a hard time catching up because, like I said, they didn't have the proper books.
False grades and everything. Okay.
But we did have some good teachers, some very good teachers. Because when we got into white schools and in the PTAs, some of those women teachers had not finished college.
Okay.
Every black teacher had, or they wouldn't have been able to teach.
Okay. Yeah. That. Thank you a lot for teaching me about MLK.
They had gone to what you call a normal